Hello, folks. Yeah, we are back. We had a couple of days rest. I will tell you in a second why that was. But let me just tell you where we are right now. We are in New York, and we are riding the famous Knickerbocker. We'll see how it goes. We actually might also do the reverse later, because the Knickerbocker is, or the New York world is on a schedule, on a rotation, and it's not available that often. So we want to use our chance and get as many routes done in this world as possible. I saw that we have only 4 left. So we have the Knickerbocker, the Knickerbocker reverse, the Everything Bagel, which is the longest ride in New York, and with the most vertical meters. And we have the Gotham Grind, which is very short, I think 9 kilometer loop, which we'll probably do if we need to do recovery ride. But so the Knickerbocker, I haven't been on this ride yet, so that's why we are trying to get this route batch. And as you can see, it's about 22.5 kilometers long. I think we're going to have about 370 meters of climbing, which that's going to be nice. And yeah, so I hope you're all doing all right. Hope you're enjoying your Saturday so far. Here in China today is the eve of the evening of Chinese New Year. So next year is the year of the rabbit. I'm not quite sure what that means. And who's going to be lucky and what your lucky numbers are, and if it's supposed to be a very prosperous year or healthy or whatnot. But no matter where you are, I of course hope that you guys are healthy, happy, yeah, and that you'll be having a fantastic new Chinese year as well as the calendar year that started 21 days ago. Yeah, now briefly as to why I haven't been on the bike for a couple of days. I came down with a severe case of food poisoning a couple of days ago, 5 days ago, 4 days ago. And yeah, that was really bad. And that was on, I want to say on Wednesday, no, Tuesday. It was on Tuesday. I actually took 2 hours off work because I wanted to get back on the bike and do one more ride before then heading to Beijing, see some friends, and yeah, and I just came back earlier today to Baoding, which is where I live, and figured why not get back on the bike. Anyways, yeah, Tuesday was not good, and I had everything lined up that a friend drives me to the hospital in Beijing on Wednesday. And then in the early hours of Wednesday, I figured I might be able to do it myself. So I canceled because my friend would have just driven me and then taken a train back to Baoding. And it was also his first day of vacation. So I didn't really want to do that to him. And I felt strong enough to do that by myself. And it actually worked out. So I went to the doctor and they did a million tests, even put me in the MRI and checked for any obstructions in the stomach, because I had similar things in the past. Yeah, and I was just a little bit nervous that one of the old things came back to haunt me, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So, and they didn't find anything new, so that's good. So the doctor said it was most likely simply a case of food poisoning, which sucks, but it's at least better than most of the other alternative what's it called? Well, alternatives that the doctor could have come up with. So yeah, and then I took it a couple of days, like really slowly. My stomach was still not quite feeling very good. Understandably, I ate like very carefully and not too much. Tried to stay away from anything that could trigger the stomach. Stayed away from dairy, which was really tough because I do like a coffee in the morning, and the coffee I drink with milk. So that was an issue. But yeah, anyway, so we survived, and all is better now. And so I guess maybe this afternoon, maybe tomorrow morning, I will try to have another good morning or good afternoon coffee. So we'll see how that goes. Anyways, so we seem to be running here through Central Park, which is yeah, very nice. Seems to be like a very nice route, at least so far. A little bit nervous about 370 vertical meters, but we'll take them as they come. So again, we are not trying to have any personal bests or, you know, race around the course. The goal is to, if not in zone 1, but then to stay in zone 2 for the majority of the time, which would also help us with our base endurance, which is what for us at the moment it's all about. So we are trying to lose some belly fat, for which it seems quite a good idea to be pedaling in zone 2, just because it seems to be the one where at least most of the fat burning happens. Beyond that, zone 3 will then be more that you start triggering your yeah, glycogen burn, where the muscles that you are using are slightly more fast twitch, and the burning of fat is not as quickly as needed for that zone. So it seems like zone 2 and ideally top of zone 2 seems to be where you want to be, or seems to be a great yeah, area to be if your aim is to shed some excess body weight, as I think a lot of us do. So we are using the zone ranges as per default from our Garmin watch. The only things we updated was the max heart rate, which is definitely higher in our case than this calculation of 220 minus h. So we are probably somewhere around upper 180s, somewhere between 185 and 190 on our max heart rate. And I think I set it to lower 185 at the moment. And our resting heart rate, yeah, weirdly enough, actually came down while being sick. But normally, excuse me, normally it's around 53 beats per minute. And the last couple of days it was actually below 50. But yeah, we think it's probably going to be in the lower 50s. These things tend to move a little bit around depending on, you know, how things are with your overall health, how much sleep you get, how fit you are, how much training you do. Well, it seems like we just overtook a fellow German and now offer maybe some drafting for them. But yeah, again, for us, the goal is simply unlocking another route, getting those XP points associated with that route, and actually try to get through all the worlds before the end of the year and through all the routes. We did finish Yorkshire the other day. It was like maybe a week or so ago that we finished the last route in Yorkshire. And as I said, here in New York, we only have 4 left. And the Knickerbocker and the Knickerbocker reverse are 22.5 each. So that's 45K in total. The everything bagel, I want to say, is about 35, 36K, which means this is 80, and the Gotham grind is about 9. So all in all, only about 90K left in this world. And under normal circumstances, I would say, let's just try to knock those out of the park in one go, in one session. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. We have, yeah, not been feeling that great for some time. Had COVID at the beginning of the year, recovered, went back on the bike, then had another 4 or 5 days where we couldn't do anything because of food poisoning, and me just simply being away. I think I could have easily been on the bike yesterday, but as I said, I was in Beijing trying to get things solved with the hospital. And now, since that is over, I have until next Thursday. I will be staying in Baoding, and we'll just enjoy lots of biking, hopefully making a lot of content, putting it on YouTube, and yeah, and then on next Thursday I will go back to Beijing, spend a couple more days with some friends, and then on the Monday I actually have an appointment at a different hospital for some general examination needed for a green card application. Yeah, and they take this quite seriously here, and for that, you would need to give blood samples, and essentially they put you upside down and trying to see if there's any disease that you would bring into the country. Yeah, and not that I have any of those, but I guess well done, or fair play for them to figuring that out before handing out green cards. So from Thursday until then Monday, there will be another time where I won't be on the bike, but that's next week. So we have today where we will just be by ourselves. We can arrange our speed, our power, timing, everything. Tomorrow I will try to hop on the Cycle Nation ride at 1 to maybe see if I can do 100K with those guys. And then there's also probably a couple of stages that I need to do on the Tour de Zwift, since I probably missed out 3 and 4. So I'll probably try to catch up with some of those, because that seems also like a very nice tour. I know it's not a race, but it, oddly enough, it seems to quickly become a race once you start paddling and see that there's, I don't know, hundreds upon hundreds of people. And then once people overtake you, you try to grab their wheel, and before you know it, you went near your FTP for like half an hour or even longer. So for that, we want to see how our free ride today goes, how we're feeling. Again, just aiming for a nice, warm, cozy spot in zone 2, which is what we just entered. It seems, at least power-wise. No, HR-wise, we are still in zone 1. Which is also good, because 19-20 minutes, that's also a nice proper warm-up and gets your juices flowing. And if we are so inclined to feel like, you know, there's a little sprint coming up, or we just want to keep the pace high, then we'll push a little bit harder. All right, so now, weirdly enough, I just saw that I've been 15 minutes in zone 1 and 0 seconds for all other zones, which means that I'm missing 5 minutes. maybe it's our zone 1 probably starts at 50 to 60 which percent of max heart rate, which probably simply means that we have been below that for 5 minutes. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so far I really like this course. I like when it resembles yeah, some greenery, like here going through Central Park. That's probably the one thing that I miss the most in being in China, living in a city where there's very few green spots. It's just, I know it's just virtual, but at least it still feels nice. Okay, so we should have maybe started our arrow, because now we are going uphill. And there's not much benefit for arrow when going uphill. Yeah, I was also supposed to fly to Hong Kong and spend Chinese New Year's and a couple of days there. But yeah, kind of decided against it. Yeah, it's simply because there are so many things that I have on my mind at the moment. So many plans for this year, this channel being included. And I think I'd rather take the time to, you know, make like proper plans and yeah, find the time of uninterrupted thinking about stuff. So okay, here starts to come. Oh, maybe now we do this because we're not going to be able to use it any further up the hill. Well, ahead of us, you can see our ghost avatar being 2 seconds ahead of us. That is from a previous ride where apparently I was going up here a little bit faster. Which is fair enough. Again, we are not planning on setting any new best times. We are just trying to get around the course, enjoying a day in the saddle, and racking up the miles, getting a route badge, and actually seeing how it feels to being back in the saddle. Well, it has some very steep sections, like here 16%, which I'm not sure you'd actually have in real life in New York, but that's of course nice to have when you are designing a game. You're free to do as you see fit. Yeah, now we caught up with our ghost avatar. So if we stick around until the final banner, then of course we'll try to outsprint ourselves just to get another personal best. But again, not the main thing for today's exercise. So at the moment we are riding at an average of 123 watts, which is just above 1.5 watts per kilo. That's on average. Max power we did was 250 according to according to the misshifted according to Garmin. Although I want to say I saw earlier, like very briefly, 4 watts per kilo, which at our weight should be more than 300. So I'm not quite sure. But we mainly keep our watch on showing us the different heart rate zones. That is something that I really love about Garmin watches, that they are so customizable and you can have so many data screens, which is really fantastic. So I made some new ones just recently, maybe 10 days, 2 weeks ago, where I put all the different heart rate zones in: average power, average heart rate, time in each zone, time in each power zone. And yeah, it's just nice to keep an eye on, especially on very long rides, when you see a drift or your heart rate starts running away. It's just good to keep an eye on that. All right. So about a minute left, 50 meters. So now we are slightly ahead of our ghost avatar. So we'll try to keep it this way, because we are not going up here very often. So whenever we have a chance for a personal best, then we'll do that. All right, accomplished by just a couple of seconds without us getting wrecked or having to go into zone. Oh no, we went to zone 3 just very briefly for some 30 seconds. But so we already have more than half of the total climb done. There's about 150 meters of climbing left. And on the way down here, we can actually go into the super tuck. For that, I will just stop pedaling. Okay, it doesn't work when the percentage downhill it needs to be steeper than -3. So let's try that again here. So now it should work. There we are. Super tuck position. I'm not pedaling. And we are still, if we were in a group, we would still be able to maintain the speed quite nicely. So it's a nice, good way to rest during a race. But be wary of people attacking, even on the downhill. Then you better be ready to hit the pedals hard again. All right. So going all the way down. I'm sure we have another big climb coming up shortly. So 12 kilometers done, 10.5 to go. Yeah, we saw that he was actually putting more power out than us, but we came from a long, long downhill section, and the speed just carried us past him. So now we'll try to grab his wheel, preserve some energy, and hopefully he will be ahead of us for some time. Okay, so now he's increasing his speed. So there are some people who don't like when you're sitting in their wheel, but I sometimes make a sport of it and try to see if I can still stick with them. But if he continues to do that and putting in some sprint efforts to get rid of us, then we'll just let him go. Like, I guess now. Our heart rate also went to zone 3. And we would have split here anyways. Anyways, no harm, no foul. I actually don't mind when people sit in on my wheel, especially on long rides or on long routes that I haven't completed yet. If there's no pace partner. There was some when I actually felt quite adventurous and, you know, had my own speed. I think I was putting out maybe 2.3 watts per kilo. No, actually more, 2.5 watts per kilos for, I don't know, maybe some 10 minutes. And if somebody benefits from sitting in on my wheel, then it doesn't really bother me. Then he can, or she. So these things don't really bother me at all. But there are some people, also in the real world. I remember I used to do speed skating, inline speed skating, and I remember when we were training in Berlin. Shout out to Germany and to Berlin. There's a very famous asphalt way through the forest called Kronprinzessinenweg, or in short, Krone, which means the crown. And it's very popular with hikers, or I should say with runners, with speed skaters. And it's also part of some routes that mountain bikers or road bikers do. And when I was training, when I was training by myself, I would then try to latch on to like a group of road bikers going at, I don't know, 45k an hour and sit in on their wheel. And then just before the end of those 4 kilometers, trying to get out of the draft and actually go for a sprint, because that's pretty much what is inline speed skating, going for an extended amount of time at high pace and then still have to go for a sprint. And the high pace is only possible because you're in a group of people bending down very low, decreasing your drag. And yeah, anyways, there were many times when I or we in a group got yelled at for sticking with the bikers, with the road cyclists. And I found that very peculiar, because I didn't know why that would bother them. But yeah, anyways, it did. And I found that very different to, for instance, mountain bikers. They seemed way more welcoming, and they were also up for any types of shenanigans, which I guess wasn't quite what the road bikers did. But anyways, all good, all in good fun. Very fond memories of my time in Berlin. Up to this day, still my favorite city in the world. Yeah, I absolutely love this city. Anyways, I hope that later this year I'll be able to go to Germany for vacation, see my family. That is my sister and her family, my parents, my one grandma I have left. My other grandma unfortunately passed away last year. And I also haven't been to her grave yet. So that's definitely another thing that I would need to do. Yeah. But anyways, we'll see. Hopefully this will happen maybe even as early as April, May. We shall see. All right, where are we? So a little less than 7K left. So about 1/3. And about 100 vertical meters left, which is probably going to be one continuous climb. So not too bad. Yeah, and then we'll probably just change route to the Knickerbocker reverse, because that's also quite a long ride, I guess. And then I'm not sure if New York is still going to be on for tomorrow. If it is, then I would probably try to do the Everything Bagel and the Gotham grind, or maybe do the Gotham grind later as a recovery. Then be done with this world as well, because Zwift is of course also constantly working on new worlds. Like this year they're gonna have Scotland up and running for the World Championships later this year. Or actually, it might be even later this month or beginning of next month. I'm not quite sure about time and dates, but I want to say it was in Q1. So once this is released to the public, yeah, you also want to probably spend some time there and give those new routes a viewing or a spin. But yeah, our goal is still the same. Of course, it doesn't really matter if we finish all the different routes, but it is essentially just to get us to keep us going out there, trying to accomplish as much as we can, ride as much as we can, because we strongly believe that the more we ride, the better we'll get. And if we have somewhat of a plan, which we do, then this should also lead to improvements in power, lost weight, in FTP, endurance, sprinting capabilities, all of these. As for the structure that we try to follow, so we will try to have lots and lots and lots of rides in zone 2. And once we have, let's say, 2 hours under our belt, then I don't mind like a sprinting effort or like something that pushes us up to, let's say, zone 4 or even 5. But the majority of time we want to stay in zone 2, because according to Pogačar's coach, that's the zone where a lot of things will happen. Not only is that where the fat burning is most effective, which is what we are trying to get rid of as well, but also it benefits in some processes behind the curtain that allow for lactate to be transported away from the muscles more effectively. And that can never be a bad thing. So when the lactate builds up in your muscle, this is when you feel the muscles getting harder, performance drops significantly, and can even go all the way to cramps when the muscle is, so to speak, saturated with lactate. And therefore the transport of the lactate away from the muscle group affected is very, very important. And well, lactate majorly builds up at zones higher than zone 2 when you use your glycogen storage to provide energy for the muscles. And so those sustained efforts where you have to ride at a high power for some time, like in races, it is very important that your muscles know how to get away with the harmful byproduct. It's not harmful, but it's harmful to performance, I guess. So now we just used our drafting boost because there's only 4K left, and we still have most likely 50-60 meters of climbing ahead of us, where drafting won't really help. So we just want to get rid of this on the flats, and and we'll see where we can use the remaining power to get through the last 3.5K. And maybe there's no more like one particular climb, but it's just rolling terrain that in total will be those 50 odd meters, but we'll see. So we'll probably end up at just about an hour, depending on how many more meters of vertical climb it actually is. So 3K left. If you stayed at 20 kilometers an hour, that would be 9 minutes. It would just push us over 1 hour. At 30K, of course, would be only 6 minutes. But again, that just depends on how many vertical meters are left. The good thing is that we are feeling good. I was a little bit nervous that my body would say, no, no, no. F you. Don't push me. But so far, so good. Seems to be happy to being on the right. Yeah, I'm always glancing over to my Garmin to see yeah, what zone we're in and if it's likely for us to finish in within the hour. Okay. Now it seems like we got hit with a disconnection issues. We had that once before. Just last week. So the connection to the bike seems to be still there. And we are back. All right. So now I'm getting more and more confident that we'll be able to finish in less than an hour, although there's another disconnection. Yeah, I hope that this is nothing serious. But anyways, I will just say my goodbyes now, because I will stop the ride just after the finish line. So we will, of course, finish the kilometer just to ensure that we get those extra 20 XP points. But yeah, we will therefore have 23 kilometers under our belt. So 1 more K to go. And then I'll take a quick break. Put some new drinks out and maybe eat a banana. And then I should be back on the bike in like 10-15 minutes. And then I'll make another video. And I hope that you enjoyed this one. And I, of course, hope that you will have a look at the other one too. And hopefully you will enjoy this one as well. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the Knickerbocker, the forward loop in New York. And I hope it gave you maybe some inspiration to try it yourself, or go on any other routes in either New York or any of the other worlds that Zwift has created. I think today is Mercury Island, Batopia, as well as New York. Just yeah, enjoy your time out. Maybe you're even biking in real life, which would be even better. So yeah, I hope you're really enjoying your Saturday and your riding. And as always, ride hard, have fun, tight. So let's see if we can get our route badge and then do 23. There we have it. Unlocked an additional 450 XP, which is also nice. So yeah, well done us. I hope to see you in the next one. If you feel like this adds some values to you, to your day, brings a smile to your face, or just gets you out riding, then please do feel free to subscribe. Send a thumbs up if you so feel. Make a comment if you want any particular things for me to chat about, or to just randomly in a podcast style reminisce about. And I hope I'll see you in the next one. So take care for now. Bye bye, and have a lovely rest of your day. See you in the next one. Bye bye.